Because this moment will be here for the rest of your life.
The next 24 minutes for the next 24 minutes, because the next 48 minutes for the next 48 years makes no goddamn sense. Bud Kilmer.
In your life.
I hate Bud Kilmer.
In your life. What's up? Welcome back to Back to Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. With me, of course, is...
David Danger Neff. What is going on, partner?
It's been a wicked week.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait for a day off. I can't wait for a day off.
I've been surviving R. Kelly.
Yeah. Oh man.
See where I went there? Just inevitable, but I have seen the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, all 6 episodes. Fuck R. Kelly. I'm just, yeah, that's about the best way I can describe that. He's a piece of shit. And, yeah.
You know what? Fuck everybody involved with the Surviving R. Kelly thing, to be honest. Yeah. Like there's a lot to take in with all of this, but there was a lot that was already accepted that I just feel like this is kind of knew. Right. This is like a lifetime cash grab.
You know what? And it seemed like a lot of the things mentioned just had you with that ew. Oh, ew.
I know.
Ew.
Disgusting.
It's gross.
Where's my Me Too movement after that?
I don't know, but ew. Well, we are on that big 3, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and iTunes. So go ahead, jump on there, and wherever you listen to your podcast, we're always here hanging out with you, ready to dive deeper into the moves of 1999, because that's where we are now this year.
It's weird when you say that, because it's like, it's like, oh man, this is like a podcast from literally 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's like a time machine, if you will. And the schedule this year was made up by yours truly, you did it.
Oh, I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, you did it.
Yours truly.
Wait a minute. That sounds
yours
wrong.
truly. How about that?
Ours truly. Dave did it.
Yours, mine's, and ours, guys.
But I'm going to say this. The movie that he chose for today, I was like, all right, I'm down. But before we get to the movie, the Golden Globes took place this past Sunday.
Were we off?
We were extremely off.
I think I remember because I was so angry when Sam Elliott didn't get nominated, obviously, for A Star Is Born.
Right.
Then come to find out A Star Is Born was going to win anything but Best Song. And I sat there afterwards and I was like, wow, y'all really did not take to this movie like I did.
Now, keep in mind that, whoever won at the Globes doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go all the way home and take the Oscar as well. But I, like you, was definitely surprised. Before I even get to the actual winners in this situation and the snubs, your opinion on Andy Samberg and Sandra Oh hosting?
They're all right. I think they played it safe. It was a little bit of a safe bet. Some jokes landed.
Definitely did not land.
Right. And then some jokes definitely were just kind of, were kind of whatever. I did appreciate Sandra Oh probably a little bit more than Andy. Mm-hmm. She definitely had some of the better lines and better jokes. She also had a lot more charm to her being up there on stage. And because Andy's one of those guys that, like, you either find him being absolutely friggin' hilarious or you're just like, yeah, you're annoying. Right. He's the kind of guy that you would expect to be in an Adam Sandler movie. It's true. Well, what'd you think?
I'm with you. A lot of the jokes were pretty good. A lot of them just fell flat completely. But I also want to commend Sandra Oh for really being, the first Asian actress to host the show.
That's
and,
right.
and on top of that, she also won an award while hosting the show. So
has that ever happened?
Not that I can recall.
Like when that happened, I was like, oh wow, that is stunning. Like, when has a host actually
won an award while hosting?
I know
that's dope. But she shouted out the crew of Crazy Rich Asians, and I thought that was pretty cool as far as taking that moment to really recognize, like, this is really happening. This is a Asian woman hosting the show, and then a movie with 98% of the cast is Asian,
right?
Director's Asian, and that's up for Best Picture. So for that, I commend her for that for sure.
Right. The other thing, there was one pretty hilarious moment And it when one of the problems with Hollywood and me as a white person, I'm just going to go and say this, is that shit tends to get whitewashed, and we all know what that means. It just means that a white actor is replacing a minority role just to kind of get the bigger name that's thrown out there. So one of the jokes that she kind of threw out there was like a celebration of movies that were basically whitewashed. Like one of them was Aloha, that starred Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, as a Hawaiian. Right,
as a Hawaiian. And Emma Stone is like blonde hair, green eyes in this film. And I'm like, that is nothing like Hawaiian whatsoever. But even Emma, like, yelled across the stage. It was just like, I'm sorry. Like she understood that, yeah, I just got it for the paycheck, basically.
Emma, we know.
Right.
It's fine.
And you know what? We appreciate that.
For the honesty, yeah, hey, I appreciate the honesty.
Look, man. If they're gonna whitewash and they offer me a role, like I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna get the check in whatever way I want to. I may feel bad afterwards, but I'm gonna get the check. Especially if you're gonna pay me a lot more money than expected. But that's Hollywood sometimes for you guys.
So let's go ahead and break down some of these winners real quick to see how we feel about them. We were definitely off. We were really, really, really off.
All right. The one that we were certain we were going to hit definitely hit.
Right. So best motion picture drama went to Bohemian Rhapsody. Did I call that one?
I know it was in conversation, but we didn't. I don't think we actually.
Yeah, I believe you called Stars Born.
I called A Stars Born. Yeah.
I believe I called Black Klansman for the upset.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, Bohemian just took it. Like, oh, okay.
Right. So cool. I mean, that's cool. I'm all right with it.
Yep. Best actor in a motion picture drama went to Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Now that for me was well deserved. As far as the others in that category, Cooper, Willem Dafoe, Lucas Hedges, John David Washington, which I do still wanted J.D. Washington to take it. Even Bradley Cooper in Stars Born, I was, kind of rooting for as well. But Rami Malek, what he was able to, put together as Freddie Mercury was nothing short of amazing. So
right.
Well earned in my mind.
And that was for drama. And there was also the comedy. Christian Bale took it
for Vice.
For Vice,
yep.
Right? So I think that kind of starts painting the picture a little bit for the Oscar nominations.
About which direction we're going to head to, for sure.
Right. And just so you guys know, the Oscar nominations is January 22nd.
Yes. We will be ready to talk about those as well. Best actress in a motion picture drama. Now this is where the comes in. Ooh. Glenn Close got that for The Wife. In a stat category with Lady Gaga, Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCarthy, and Rosamund Pike.
Right. And it was a major shock. Like
even the Glenn Close herself, like, oh, shit, I won?
Right, exactly. Wow. Not only that, I never even heard of the movie.
I've never seen it, never even heard of it. But she was in there, and I was almost certain it would go to Gaga.
Yeah, I think everybody had Gaga painted in for that.
Yeah, and then when the camera passed at Glenn Close, she was eating chicken. Well, what happened now? Oh shit! Hold on. Pass me a napkin. What the fuck? That shit is crazy.
I gotta give a speech now.
I just called my limo driver to come pick me up. I was ready to go home. But yeah, best motion picture drama, musical, or comedy went to Green Book. I still have not seen the movie yet. I hear it's fantastic. Considering the rest in that category, Crazy Rich Asians, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Vice. I've only seen Crazy Rich Asians out of that entire list.
I actually really like Crazy Rich Asians.
I enjoyed it as well. I was really pulling forward to take home the best comedy award. It almost hit $100 million, didn't it?
Yeah, it came pretty close to it.
Right. So I figured that'd be a great stepping stone for an all-Asia cast. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Best actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy went to Olivia Colman for The Favorite. Again, have not seen it.
Right. And I've heard a lot of good things about the movie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's been pretty well acted. Like Olivia Colman was in there. Best supporting actress for musical comedy. Also had Rachel Weisz and what's her name?
Emma Stone.
Yeah, Emma Stone. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so there's getting a lot of traction for it. In fact, they're already starting to consider it possibly a dark horse for I read like 2 days ago how it's starting to get a lot of traction going into the Oscar nominations.
Right. Best director, motion picture. Alfonso Cuarón for Roma.
Roma was really good.
It was. I finally saw it the other day. It's beautifully shot.
Now, what I'm really interested in, because it obviously won Best Foreign Film as well. Mm-hmm. And what I'm really, really interested in to seeing what's going to happen is are they going to throw into the category for Best Picture also? If it goes in for best foreign film, because that is really going to be the test for it. Because if Cuarón wins Best Director again in the Oscars, but Roma's not in there for Best Picture, that's kind of weird because usually that's hand in hand.
Personally, I definitely see Roma in Best Foreign Language Film.
Oh, it's probably going to win it
for sure,
right?
But for the Golden Globes, because it is the HFPC, the Hollywood Foreign Press, it didn't necessarily shock me that he took it, but at the same time, it's a stacked category, a really stacked category as far as Bradley Cooper, Peter Farrelly for Green Book, Spike Lee for Black Klansman, Adam McKay for Vice, and McKay, who's coming off an Oscar win from, The Big Short.
Yeah.
Big Short taking on several Oscar nominations that night. But I feel as if because it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, they gave it to Alfonso Cuarón because of the Mexico connection and yada, yada, yada. But it was a timely award, if that makes any sense.
Right. And that's kind of one of my issues with the Golden Globes. Like, because the Hollywood Foreign Press is really the very, very, very small group of people, mm-hmm. I felt like this was something, unfortunately, with this award show, it feels more like a bunch of bros pinging ideas off of other people. Like, once again, I'm going to just throw this out there. The fact that Sam Elliott, who is nominated for SAG, not nominated for a BAFTA, but is nominated for SAG, but you turn him into a presenter into the show. He's not nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And that it's a major snub for me. You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree. By the way, Sam Elliott does that awesome voice he has for that Jeff Bridges tribute.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was great. And then looking back at that montage, wow,
he's been in some movies.
He's been in some shit, isn't
he? He has been.
I mean, for me, my earliest Jeff Bridges memory is Blown Away with him and Tommy Lee Jones.
So my earliest movie that I enjoy of Jeff Bridges from way back, and I'm not talking King Kong because that's kind of hard to kind of put the two and two together there.
Right.
Because the star of the show really is King Kong and King Kong.
It's the ape, yeah.
But Starman. Mm-hmm. Now, here in Vegas, about 5 hours away is you have the Grand Canyon, obviously. You also have Flagstaff, Arizona.
Right.
About 45 minutes outside of Flagstaff, there is Meteor Crater. Meteor Crater, Arizona, which is the largest maintained meteor crater ever to exist. It's literally a mile across and a mile deep. It is insane. Now, I've been there a few times now, mm-hmm. but the opening scene of Starman, when the crater actually crashes and it comes out, that was actually filmed in Meteor Crater, Arizona.
Wow.
And they actually sell the DVD over there as kind of like a gift shop thing or whatnot. But yeah,
but major congratulations to Jeff Bridges for earning that the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
The Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Yes. Definitely a career that most can really just dream of having. Jeff Bridges is just he's just the man for sure. Mahershala Ali takes home Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Green Book. I gotta see Green Book. I heard it's really good.
I've heard it too. I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet.
But another stat category was him and Timothée Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell for Vice. Sam Rockwell, who just won an Oscar.
Right.
Last year?
Yeah, it was last year for 3 Billboards over Ebbing, Missouri.
Right, exactly. Right. So Mahershala Ali did win a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Moonlight. So he could definitely repeat this year for Oscars for sure.
It wouldn't surprise me. Not only that, but season 3 of True Detective drops this Sunday. Yeah. So we could easily see him pick up an Oscar this year and then next year pick up an Emmy. if all goes well for him for
Hopefully,
this,
True Detective season 2 was just bad.
It wasn't that it was bad. It just really did not hit season 1 expectations. Season 1 was just that good. Season 2 was, if season 2 was anything not named True Detective, people would have liked it.
Right.
But it's because it has that True Detective name. I mean, season 1, remember who it brought out of there. You know,
true.
We're talking, of course, McConaughey. Right when he makes the turn into great,
started to happen.
Exactly. You know, Woody Harrelson. We have the excellent, beautiful Alexandra Daddario coming out of there, and it's just it was such a phenomenon that first season. Second season needed work.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Regina King taking home Best Actress in a Supporting Role in the Motion Picture for If Beale Street Could Talk. Number 1, another stat category. Amy Adams is in there, Claire Foy is in there, Emma Stone's in there, Rachel Weisz is in there. But Regina King takes it home. And on top of that, gives a very powerful speech as well.
It was.
Which I definitely respected.
It was definitely probably the top moment of the Oscars, to be honest. You know, and it's encouraging to see this platform of women coming out and really trying to be a lot more supportive. What she stated, saying how the next couple of years of movies that she's going to produce, that she wants to hire at least 50% of the cast being minority or women. Very, very, very good, powerful stuff. And it's a very good expression to say to Hollywood, to say, you should join me on this journey. You know, not that she's necessarily pointing fingers, but I challenge you to accept this, and let's see what we can produce out of it. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's been a long time coming for Regina. You know,
it really has.
Think of in 1998, you know, Enemy of the State.
Further
obviously.
back, like 95, right. Poetic Justice.
No, of course. And of course, Friday.
Yes.
You know, so it's one of those things where it's like she was kind of pigeonholed into being this one form of actress. And then she had to find a way to really rebuild herself. And look at her. Now she's a Golden Globe winner.
And I definitely see
probably
her.
the front runner for Oscars.
Oscar winner Regina King. I mean, it's good for her. Good for her. And finally, we'll wrap this up with the best motion picture animated when that went to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Called it.
Man. I still haven't fucking seen it.
It's, I mean, it's going to be an interesting year for the Oscars because it's going to be the first time in a long time that Disney or Pixar film hasn't won it. Obviously, the last time before that was the Kobe movie. But then before that, like it's usually Disney or Pixar.
Now, with the Golden Globes, it was pretty stacked with Incredibles 2 and Isle of Dogs, Mariah, and then Ralph Breaks the Internet. Though I thoroughly enjoy Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I finally saw Isle of Dogs. It's really good.
Isle of Dogs is really good.
Incredibles 2 is fucking fantastic. It's such a fun movie.
I have my opinions.
And what I keep hearing, the Spider-Man is just so dope. So I really got to check it out. But huge congrats to them. Shmeik Moore, who plays Miles Morales. Brian Tyree Henry's having a fucking year.
You know who else is in that movie?
Wow.
Nick Cage.
Yeah, I heard.
And he's so good.
I heard.
It's so good that you kind of want to see a spinoff with his character only because it was just fun to kind of see like his world. I don't know. It was cool.
Well, when did the Oscar nominations come out again?
January 22nd. So we will definitely we'll have a show in between, obviously, and then afterwards we will actually discuss the Oscar nominations.
Most definitely.
As well as having any Oscar predictions, you know, and the Oscar should happen a week after the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Which is
usually February
10th.
We got the Super Bowl, Oscars, All-Star Weekend.
Right.
All that kind of falls in February.
All-Star, NHL, and NBA.
Yeah.
And then leading up into March Madness.
Yep. So we got a busy weekend, a busy couple months ahead of us. For those who do watch the Oscars, we're going no host this year.
Has it been confirmed?
It has been confirmed. We're going no host. They were kind of holding out. In my opinion, they were hoping that Kevin Hart would change his mind.
Right. Yeah.
But you know,
and he made the right decision.
I feel like he did too. There's no point in trying to take on a job where you're going to be faced with just so much scrutiny. And for something that you've apologized for time and time again.
Right. And I'm not going to touch base on that moving forward. But once again, it's a shame everything that's had to come through because of this. And bottom line is that there needs to be a little bit of a solution.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
First time the Oscars will have no hosts in about 30 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Let's see what happens.
What I would like to see host, honestly. If you ever truly got an opportunity, Trevor Noah.
I would say Hannibal Buress.
Yeah, that's a good.
That would be a great choice because he I feel like he'll be the one to where if they were to unearth some fucked up shit about him, he'll still host the show.
I think so too.
He'll even address it right there and there.
Right. Yeah. I kind of
Trevor Noah. I think Trevor Noah is a great choice as well. Most definitely. So the first 2-minute drill of 2019.
It's about time.
Last year, Dave, he was just so geeked out the fact that he kind of kicks my ass every one. But I watch movies, damn it. But
do you really?
I do really. Okay. But this is the first official Back to the Classics of the year. Shout out to everybody who listened to our show last week. Shout out to Jen Scully, who was on the show last week.
That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
I hope she had a good time.
She had a blast, actually. She tagged us on a Facebook post to where she's pretty much mouthing us talking.
Oh,
which I found to be pretty interesting. But anyway, shout out to her. Can't wait to have her back on the show again. But 2-minute drill. Dave, are you ready for 2-minute drill?
Yeah, I think I am.
All right. Well, then 2-minute drill starts now. Okay. What's the name of Billy Bob's pet pig?
Bacon.
Correct.
Mox's jersey number. What is it?
4.
Good.
How many championships has Bud Cameron brought back to the town?
Are we talking state or district?
State.
State 2. District 22. Although they did win at the end of the movie, so 23. Technically.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. Let's see. What town does this movie take place in?
West Canaan, Texas.
That's correct. Is that a real town? Yes or no?
That is not a real town.
Correct.
Who plays Billy Bob?
Lester. Ron Lister. It's something like that.
Correct.
1
minute left.
What college does Jonathan want to go to?
Shit. Okay. Damn.
3, 2, 1.
You got me.
Brown University.
Brown. Okay. All right. When do we know that? Okay. Sorry. Here we go. When do we know Lance Harbor's his injuries are pretty much permanent due to not playing for Baltimore?
Right when he has one of his first 7 surgeries that winds up happening. In fact, they literally say he probably should have never been playing at this point.
That's good. 8 seconds. Go.
All right.
Go.
I think that's going to be it. That's fine.
Well, that was a good one. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, that was a lot of quick fire stuff.
Yeah. The good show. I definitely watched the movie. Well, if you don't know what movie we're talking about, we are taking it back to 1999. The MTV Films production. We're going to go. This is post Beavis and Butthead. Post Joe's Apartment.
Right before Jackass comes out. Right when Tom Green is pretty much having his show going on.
When they're finding their footing. And we're talking about Varsity Blues. Varsity Blues. Original release date, January 15th of 1999. Shares opening weekend with At First Sight and Virus.
See, and that's why I chose Varsity Blues.
Yeah, okay. Production budget of $16 million with a box office total of $54.3 million. Currently sitting at a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Now, that's critics, right?
That's critics, yeah.
So I think audience score is like 76, and I think that's high.
Quite high.
I think this movie's probably about 50.
I would give it a solid 50. And the reason why, I told Dave before we got on the air that this was my first time ever watching Varsity Blues
What'd you think?
in prep for the show, and I liked it a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot to like about it.
I liked it a lot. I hate Vanderbeek's face, but that's a different episode. I like this movie, and then you think too, who's all in this fucking movie?
Right. So we start with James Van Der Beek, which at this point his star is actually really bright and shining because of the TV show Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, no, Dawson's Creek was still going
it's
on.
still currently going on. Yeah, you're right.
It was still going on at this time. And of course, Dawson's Creek would literally have two huge actors. One of them would wind up being an Oscar winner in Michelle Williams. And, of course, Katie Holmes, Jamie Foxx's new beau.
Whatever.
But Paul Walker comes out of this movie. This is before Fast and the Furious.
Well before Fast and Furious.
We have
Scott Conn.
Ron Lister. Scott Conn came out of it. Ron Lester came out of this movie. And of course, Voight is in this movie as well. And, it's MTV Films was a really, really weird production company because you couldn't really tell if they wanted to be PG, PG-13, R, or X, depending on the movie.
They didn't want PG, that we knew, but we didn't know if they wanted to go PG-13, R, or X. Their very first movie happened to be Joel's Apartment.
Right.
Which was, I enjoyed it. It was disgusting, but
it's gross.
But, I typically enjoyed it. And then right behind that came Beavis and Butthead to America.
Right. Then they had Dead Man on Campus.
Which I really enjoyed.
Right. Then Varsity Blues. 200 Cigarettes.
Which I really enjoyed.
Election. The Wood.
The Wood, yep.
Are we counting the original Kings of Comedy? Because that was MTV Films.
Yes.
Okay. Save the Last Dance, which I love.
Really enjoyed that.
Movie. Mm-hmm. You know what else they produced? Pootie Tang.
Oh my God, they did! I thought it was HBO this entire time, but it wasn't. It was MTV. You're right.
Pootie Tang, Orange County, which is really the introduction of Jack Black into the mainstream. The Britney Spears movie.
Crossroads.
Thank you. And then finally again, you're like jackasses. I think Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence Live Run Till That.
Right.
Yep. Which is also, they were trying to capitalize on that too.
The Tupac Resurrection movie too.
That is true. Yes, they did.
So there was definitely some things. And the thing is that MTV Films is technically still around. They haven't had anything really since Bad Grandpa, although I think they had something else afterwards. Project
X?
Almanac? I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Project Almanac.
That's MTV production?
I think so,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
So MTV was just kind of this weird, like, hey, we want to do like what everybody's kind of into right now. So it's so they cast Van Der Beek, who in my eyes is kind of miscasted, because he's kind of a wimp. Like in general, he's kind of a wimp. You had Freddie Prinze. You had Freddie Prinze right there waiting for you.
Oh, Captain Sideburns. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had Sideburns ready to go. But you went with anyways. So it doesn't matter. So this movie opens up and it talks about high school football in Texas. And there has to be something that's said about that. The reason why is because now I'm not from Las Vegas. When I moved to the United States, I went to Valdosta, Georgia. So Valdosta, Georgia, it was at one time ranked as Titletown, USA, which is this huge thing that they have where they literally go to the local high schools and they try to bring out like these high schools that are like well known for their high school football teams. Texas, of course, has plenty, but while they were doing this, they went to Valdosta, Georgia, and they have two rival football teams, and that's the Valdosta Wildcats and the Lowndes Vikings. And here's the thing about it. I know out here Bishop Gorman is kind of the big name for it, right? Because that's where everybody kind of pays money to go through, and then those guys usually go to UCLA or wherever,
and then to NFL probably,
and then into the NFL or into the NBA, depending. But Titletown, USA, like when we're talking about this, we're talking about entire towns coming in to watch these football games. Whenever the Wildcats and the Lowndes Vikings played, the entire town was shut down. And I want to keep in mind of something. Valdosta, Georgia is not a small town. There's, I think now 200,000 people that live in that town. So at the time, let's cut that in half. 100,000 people back then. Man, you want to talk about everything with it. They probably could have sold jerseys of the kids in high school, and they would have sold like crazy. Now, another really cool story before we get into the movie. My sister was part of the marching band for the Valdosta Wildcats, because that was a high school that she went to. We had the opportunity to watch her play in Fulton County Stadium, where the Atlanta Falcons played at the time, for her to march on the field to perform with the marching band. That's how important these two high schools were to the team, because Valdosta played the state championship that year. Wow. And they played in Fulton County Stadium. Now, let me tell you something. Where Fulton County Stadium was at, it was smack dab in the middle of the ghetto.
Okay.
And my mom took a wrong turn one time, and I was like 8. And the way she did it, she turned down the wrong place because the parking lot was located in a separate area. And so we're down into like one of the worst neighborhoods in Atlanta at the time. And I've never seen her drive fast at all in her entire life.
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
She was fucking lead footing all the way down, locking windows, scared white lady shit, all of it, man.
Oh God. Oh God.
So this movie opens up talking about how football is life here in Texas, and that's absolutely true.
Now let me jump in for a second, because I played football for our high school.
You sure did.
I did play football. And we had our rivalry, which was with Cheyenne.
Right.
There was never a time when we would get up and play a game against it where there was something was guaranteed to break out.
Right.
Like I remember one time, like I got injured, so I couldn't play, so I was stuck videotaping the game. So we're up on this roof. So it's 2 students from Mojave, 2 students from Cheyenne, and we're recording. And he goes, the kid that's recording for the Cheyenne team goes, "Hey, our team's way better than yours." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." But what's your point? Right? And he goes, "You want to fight about it?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, no, I don't want to fight about it." Like,
you're like, "I'm injured. I'm recording the game.
Aren't you injured as well?" I want to do this shit with you. But he wanted to fight. But I remember the other kid from Cheyenne and the guy from Mojave wanted to like keep us separated. He really wanted to fight. He figured us 2 injured players who are videotaping a game.
It's a perfect time to do so.
Rivalry goes deep. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what cripples do, I guess.
Yeah, we just fight. But the one thing about this movie that just resonated with me, and really my love for movies that are based around sports, and the fact that I play sports, I always get psyched about watching a movie where, I mean, the town's heartbeat is the fucking team.
Right. And and they capture that perfectly.
Right. They do. They honestly, like, even the sheriff who has to endure bullshit from these players and still, hey, listen, man, that's the team. Like, Scott Conn plays Tweeter. And the cops know about this kid, and they know for a fact he's a party animal. He's the womanizer. He's Tweeter, right?
Right.
To the point where he steals a fucking cop car, butt ass naked in it, with women in it with him.
No. Hold on. 3 sophomore girls butt naked in this movie. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this shit up is because there's going to be there are things that are said in this movie that And like when I kind of look back on it, I'm like, that's bad. All right. So
rape culture.
So obviously, oh yeah, no, it's total rape culture. So anyways, so this movie kind of opens up talking about how football is life with this movie. We get an introduction to the entire team. We have star quarterback Lance Harbor,
played by the late great Paul Walker.
Right. And they're at this pep rally, and man, he opens up this pep rally and he's all like, last night I was in bed.
I love this little
because and like all the girls started swooning, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I felt like I lived through that at Mojave at one point.
We did.
Right.
We did.
Last night last night I was sleeping and I had a dream. And the dream was that we were beating the other team. I can't remember their school, 20-3. And there was small cheers, and he goes, and I got sad. And all the girls were like, "Aww." I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
I got sad because, well, I know we're going to be way more than that.
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
shut the fuck up.
I'm like, do people just do that?
Yes.
Just to do that?
Yes.
And then I wonder if it was just a Paul Walker thing.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things about, you know, these high school movies, and especially watching them when you're not in high school.
Oh man.
It does not properly gear you up for what's really going to happen in high school. Like, I honestly thought, like, we brought up Save the Last Dance earlier. I honestly thought Save the Last Dance was going to be, I thought high school was going to be this real territorial, rough place.
Right.
But somewhere in there, I'm going to find somebody who can dance, and we're going to have this dance off, and we're going to just.
Correction. No. You were going to fall in love with a white girl from out of the state who was basically a professional ballerina. And you were going to teach her hip hop.
And I'm just a hip hop dancer from California.
And then you would change your name to Mekhi Phifer, and you would, yeah.
And that'd be the whole thing.
So,
boy, was I wrong.
So this movie also introduces Billy Bob, who's played by Ron Lester, who may rest in peace, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Billy Bob is the heart and soul of this movie, in a lot of fucking ways, because he's sweet. He's also an idiot. Completely. He's fat. I wouldn't say he's lazy at all. Like, he's actually kind of an active guy. It was just like, he's like this big, you know, dumb idiot that likes to drink beer and cry. And you know what? Billy Bob's one of those guys that like that he actually kind of reminds me of a friend of mine. I don't want to say an old friend because he's still my friend. I just saw him tonight, actually.
We're so cool.
And just kind of reminds me of him, not because he's so dumb, but because of how sweet he is, because of how big he is. Like, nobody really considers him a threat. But one of the dark secrets that's kind of holding in this movie is Bud Kilmer, played by Jon Voight.
Now, but before we get to Bud Kilmer, because all right,
he is a piece of work.
He is a piece of work. Billy Bob. Quick 2-minute drill question. Name the other movie that Ron Lester is known for.
Good Burger.
Oh my God, that's Spanish. I put the movie, I'm like, that's fucking Spanish. Good Burger. Wow, he really had more work after that. Wow, that's what's up. That is what's up. And all that, he's a prominent member of this movie.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so. Bud Kilmer, played by Jon Voight. I'm sorry, Jon Voight has always had that attitude, the tenacity, the face of somebody you just don't fucking trust.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I just don't trust you.
If Jon Voight was selling me a car, Jon Voight would tell me how great of a deal of a car I'm getting. And I promise you, the minute I drive 2 blocks with it, it's going to fucking explode.
All 4 wheels will fall off and explode.
Yep. With me in it, burning. And he says, I told you it'd be a good deal.
And then the camera pans back to Jon Voight. He's just really like...
Chewing gum.
Chewing gum really hard and squint face looking at you like this. Like, I don't fucking trust you, man. You know what's funny about John Voight? Even when you're playing the good guy, I still don't trust you. I still don't trust you.
How did that guy ever make Angelina Jolie? I don't understand.
I don't understand. Like, Anaconda, this, I'm talking about
Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State. You have that dude. You're up to no good.
Right.
I don't trust you.
Now, the final member of this wonderful little cast of crew is obviously James Van Der Beek, playing Mox. And Mox is a very, very smart kid. Him and Lance had grown up for most of their life, both playing quarterback, but Lance has always sort of outshone him.
Right.
And there wasn't necessarily a jealousy thing. I mean, Mox is dating his sister, right. but it was kind of one of those things where it was the fathers really try to play both of them up. Right. And how, if this just would have happened, Mox would totally get his opportunities, and you think your boy Mox can beat my Lance, and shit like that, like these over proud fathers more than anything. And the problem with Mox is that Mox just does not listen at all. Like sometimes I'm sitting there in the movie and I'm like, Mox, if you just listen to the coach, none of this bad shit would be happening to you.
Like you have to be a rebel and do your own
thing. Right. Now, here's the one thing I love about John Voight as a football coach, because he reminded me of a football coach that we had at Mojave, and Coach Salas. Because Coach Salas was one of those guys that he would insult you in probably the best fashion possible. So I'm not kidding you. We're doing bleacher drills on like hopping on one foot up and down fucking bleachers, and Coach Salas was like, "You guys run like a bunch of dandelions," and that's exactly how he sounded.
I remember.
So I'm sitting there. So it's fucking you up because you're hopping 1 foot up and down, up and down bleachers, and he just called you a bunch of penguins or dandelions and shit like that. And these are actual quotes from the movie that Bud Kilmer says. He says, "You got to be the dumbest smart kid I know." Mm-hmm. Or he says, your daddy was a no talent pussy, but at least he fucking listened. Cry me a river, you fat fucking baby. And I'm like, God damn, that's some harsh language.
Mind you, when I played football, we had a coach, and our coach, not Bud Kilmer, but damn, when we lost the game, he let us have it.
No.
He let us have it. Hang on to the fucking ball! Yeah, he lost it. So, now, I'm gonna say this. Like I said, this is my first time watching the movie. And I don't know why, but I kept trying to like overthink everything. Like, all right, so look, so Bud Kilmer, the team's gonna stand up against Bud Kilmer, and then like Kilmer's like gonna kill himself. Or, the Ollie Larder character, who's with Lance, by the way, tries to give Mox the ass, and Mox gets the ass, and then tells Lance he fucked this girl. That's beef there. None of that shit happens, by the way.
No. This is pure white boy shit.
This is pure white people shit. And I was just like, okay.
So it's a little, cool. I mean, in some ways it's a little anticlimactic because, so what winds up happening? So within like the last 5 games of the season, Lance goes down with a pretty bad fucking injury. And come to find out that he has some serious scar tissue within his knee. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why he went down is because Billy Bob, who is clearly affected by a concussion, at least one for sure, just can't get his head on straight and winds up passing out during the middle of the play. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So Mox comes in and he winds up winning the game for them. And all of a sudden, because West Canaan football is back alive and the town has a pulse, the new savior is Jonathan Moxon, right? And starts kind of getting into his head a little bit. Now, Darcy, who's played by Allie Larder, this bitch switched so quickly. She was like, she
switched on the way home from the hospital. I was like,
on the way home to the hospital. They said that we're surprised. We'll be surprised if he can ever play down a football ever again. And of course, Lance had a full ride scholarship over to Florida State. Mm-hmm. So Darcy on the ride home to the hospital was just like, things change, Mox. You never know. You never know how life's ever going to play out.
Fucking go see your boyfriend.
Things change. No, but things change, Mox.
She is naked in front of him in the car.
Fucking undresses, and I'm like, holy shit, ho! Like, can you wait? Can you give him a day to breathe?
The man still lives in West Canaan,
but no, because these hoes don't care, man.
These hoes ain't loyal.
They ain't loyal. That's what MTV Films taught me over the years, that these hoes ain't loyal.
Let me tell you something. I watched, I said, oh shit, Mark's gonna fuck this chick, and then Lance's gonna find out about it. They're gonna have this little beef there. Oh, that's gonna be crazy. Never happens. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
So, as the season kind of continues forward, Mox really starts gaining this like big head, and he's dating the sister. The sister kind of basically dumps him, who's played by Amy Smart, by the way. And he kind of gets this big head idea to take all the guys out to a titty bar. Now, in the process of doing so, before this, they had a sex ed teacher named Miss Davis.
Oh, wow.
And they had this whole, like, it's supposed to be a funny scene. I didn't really care for it. Of where they're trying to like express themselves basically sexually, where they're like, now everybody just say penis, 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 vagina, 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 right? And then going through this whole like set and scene and whatnot. And as they go to the titty bar, mind you, before doing that, they recognize that Miss Davis' car looks incredibly impressive for being on a teacher's salary.
Right.
Of course, they go there, and she's fucking stripping, like, over there.
Okay.
Now, my problem with this is there's too many issues nowadays with teachers fucking little kids. How is this not a thing?
It's 1999, so it wasn't frowned upon, I guess. But okay, so just to talk about that part real quick. So I too noticed that part. Like, I noticed that they say, "Yo, our car is awfully nice for being on a teacher salary in a town with like 50,000 people."
Let me ask you now. Knowing that, did it make you think about teachers that we had back in the day?
Yes, it did. Because what I would give to see some teachers that I dealt with back in them days kind of stumbled across me at that strip club like, oh my God. Either you fuck me or I'm telling everybody. I'm telling everybody. And I appreciate the fact that once they discovered that this is the sex ed teacher who's also a stripper with a beautiful body, by the way, it kind of goes nowhere.
No, exactly. Like they were just like, no, we kept it as a pact between our guys, and it's just going to stay secret. And I'm like, okay. My issue with this is that when this pops up 20 years later, from a Me Too movement, are you guys going to say something? Because if you guys ain't going to say something, then that was that.
Now, look at me.
I'm looking at you.
I'm going to say this right into the mic.
Go ahead.
Nope. Not at all. I'm going to show what they call the fuck up, because I was able to see my teacher's titties, and she was cool with it and took a shot with us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matter of fact, we were so cool, I felt I mispracticed the next day and played the game that night halfway drunk.
Definitely halfway drunk. Got my ass kicked throughout the whole fucking game. And again, it's just thing after thing with this team, right? That just kind of keeps going. Now, unfortunately, I kind of have to talk about this actual Me Too movement line, and I didn't really want to bring it up, but this was something that, like, if this ever gets brought up, I have to mention it. So Scott Kane, who reminds me way too much of one of my friends,
I need some pussy, man.
Like he's just he's one of those guys that's just like a bit of a drunk. You know where he's going 20 years from now, and he's going fucking nowhere fucking fast, Right. And, he's just all about the party and the life, like right now. I'm going to go to jail. Like he has no problem saying that. So he literally says.
And catches an STD.
He literally says this. He totally catches an STD.
He goes, what the fuck is that?
He's like, now, what the fuck is that? Now, right before that line, because he's looking down his pants when he says that, he says this. He goes, man, these girls, they be panty droppers out here.
Oh,
and he's all like, they're like, what are you talking about, Tweeter? He's all like, all you got to do is give them 2 Percocets of Vicodin and something to drink afterwards, and they'll be all dance worthy, and they'll start dropping their panties. And I was out there like, did you just Cosby them? You just Cosby'd them.
That's rape culture.
That is rape culture.
1999.
What the fuck?
That's 1999.
But that's 1999, people. We were unwilling to turn an eye to it. Is that
yeah?
We were unwilling. We just kind of thought it was just something that was said.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. The general consensus didn't take much offense to it, so why do we? Why should we?
Right.
But the fact that we are men and we thought that way, yeah, we're all part of that culture. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have said that.
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so
what the fuck was that? Now that line was fucking hilarious afterwards.
Now I do want to touch on this one thing. I remember seeing this problem. Like, oh, that's fucked up, and that's Bud Kilmer putting the injecting the
needle
the needle into the players. Really, it's Lance. Which next thing Lance has that the knee blowout. I've never experienced this. I don't know any coaches in high school football who are, juicing their players, but it showed you just how dark and deep and fucked up Kim was willing to go to keep that record shining.
Now it's funny because remember, 1999 happens, right? Mm-hmm. If you remember what's going on in sports during this time, we just had the marathon between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire for the steroid use. Right. We're going into the Rams getting ready to win their first Super Bowl against the Titans. Jordan's last ride, basically at that point. And so at this point, like, this is when some of the stuff that's kind of being blanketed over starts getting revealed little by little, because even the movie Concussion talks about how bad the NFL kind of treats their players and how they'll turn a blind eye to certain things about this. And you can now definitely tell that shit was happening way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this was just normal. Just fucking normal. This is just something that was there. All right, so fast forward the movie a little bit. Mox comes to his senses, and he basically gets threatened by Kilmer to win the district title for him. And the reason why is because he just got accepted into Brown University, and he's worried that the culture that Kilmer has basically created at this point is just going to be infectious to if his brother decides to play football, his little brother. By the way, special shout out to
his little brother is fucking awesome, man.
The little brother is amazing.
Fucking awesome.
But do you know Paul Walker's little brother in the movie? Do you know who that was? He look exactly like him.
No.
That's Jesse Plemons.
Seriously?
That's Todd from Breaking Bad. He's also obviously in Game Night. He's the officer. Yeah, that's Jesse Plemons.
Wow.
Straight up, 1999.
Wait, he's a kid then.
You're right. And of course, he had such a small role, you don't really recognize it. But once again, like it's just kind of funny how the seeds are sowed back then. Anyway, so comes to the senses, and they decide to kind of play this game against a team that is just looks impossible to beat. Mm-hmm. They came down from a tougher division, and they look like they're just going to ransack everybody, right? And of course, everybody is pushing for this. The dads have the cheesiest fucking lines. Oh my God, they drive me up a wall. The dads were all like, "Man, those guys really look like they're having a whole bunch of fun out there." I'm just like,
well, you know what? To touch on the dads have this thing to where obviously they were once football players themselves.
Of course.
But now, their glory years are behind them. They have children now who play the game. So they're trying to live their lives vicariously through their sons.
Right, because they have nothing else to live for.
You have nothing else going for you.
Right.
So, to circle back to the now infamous whipped cream bikini scene.
Right.
I totally understand her character as to why she's so loose with it, because she's looking for a way out.
Right, exactly.
Which
is I don't really blame her.
Exactly. Because one of you motherfuckers is going to get a crazy contract, and I'm going with you when you go.
Right, exactly.
So, in hindsight, I get it. I definitely get it. The way you go about it is fucked up. Right. But I definitely get it.
Right.
And even the Amy Smart character, who's not really into football and really wants Mox to kind of go in a different direction. And when, they break up for a second and she, calls attention to the window because Mox is there and the whole town is there getting burgers and shakes and shit. And then they just love all over this guy.
Of course.
And he's trying to get his girl back.
And he only played he started 5 games.
Right.
And look at how much love he was getting.
He was the town hero.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of makes sense for like these rural towns to kind of like really bank on all these things. Anyways, let's get to the end of this movie. Basically, they play this team and they go into halftime losing 17-7.
Yes.
And in the process of doing so,
shout out to the one black man in this whole movie. He's dope.
Right.
And he was almost came very close to having the same fate as Paul Walker's character.
Right. He winds up hurting his knee.
Tore something.
Right. It sounded like something popped. Don't know if it was an actual tear. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. What winds up happening is, again, they try to do the knee injection. Instead, they decide to confront Kilmer about this. And Kilmer is just like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. This is my team. You guys are here to win the district championship. And Mox, who's been kind of getting under Kilmer's final nerves, finally just says, fuck it. I'm not playing. You find another play. And he was cool with it at first. Then he gets pissed the minute Tweeter, of all people, was just like, nah, man, I'm not doing it either.
Oh, no. Once Billy Bob said, I'm not going out there either.
Right.
That's when he full blown just attacks Mox.
Right. And he does. And he puts his hands around his throat and it looks like he's trying to choke him and players pull him back. And that's kind of the end of Bud Kilmer from there.
It is. And I'm not going to lie. That is a moment. It's a strong moment as well because, mind you, the guys who are injecting this bullshit into the players, they're strictly going off what Kilmer says.
Right, exactly. Right?
But when the whole team rises up and says, fuck that. If you put that in him, we're not playing.
Mind you, these guys, everybody has to think about the other side of that also. These are guys that could actually get scholarships getting out of this fucking town, getting out of this place, and they're basically putting that on the line for it. So yeah, it is a pretty fucking powerful moment because they're literally sacrificing maybe their only ticket out of town at that point.
I love the fact that after the uprising, Kilmer goes, he's like, all right, let's go outside and win a championship, and then he goes outside by himself.
Yeah.
To the point where once he's outside, he think he's trying to get the team riled up, and nobody comes out behind him.
Right.
And he just walks off slowly. I'm like, and that's one thing. Like he's gonna go kill himself. Watch.
Right.
And obviously he doesn't, but the fact is, you still get the monologue from Mox. And, Lance is there, and it's just time. Let's just wrap this fucking season up because it's bigger than football.
Right.
We all have opportunity to get out of here and do things, but school's almost over.
Right.
Let's just wrap this shit up.
Our lives are not going to be dictated by the 23rd district championship that we wind up winning. Kilmer said to us that 48 minutes for the next 48 years of our lives. And it may have been true for their fathers, but this is where everybody gets the opportunity to break out of the shell. I mean, this is it. This is your chance to actually get out there and break out of the shell. So instead they say, no, fuck it. They're going to play the next 24 minutes for the next 24 minutes, and they're going to leave it all out there and try to be heroes of this. And so the obvious things happen, right? They score the first touchdown. They get a key play to get the block. This kind of follows a formula at this point. And the person that winds up scoring the winning touchdown is from a trick play, and it goes to Billy Bob. Again, the heart and soul of this movie to finally crossing the finish line, crossing the goal line with 3 fucking dudes on his back, which is just to win it, obviously.
Now, go back to Billy Bob.
One thing before the whole Billy Bob thing, it felt so anticlimactic at the end, and I actually kind of hated it, because you always get the end like thing that's like said afterwards, right? What winds up happening with everybody, right? So they said Billy Bob cried because
he's a crier.
He's a bit of a crier. And then that was it. That was it for Billy Bob. Yeah. And Tweeter drank beer because Tweeter drinks beer. It's like, okay.
So what happened to these people?
Right. And then it was like, well, Lance was happy, and it looked like he's probably going to go into coaching, and he may have actually coached that football team. He goes, and
Bud Kilmer never coached again.
Bud Kilmer never coached again. I went to Brown University, where I'm expected to graduate. And it's like, that's it? Like the whole fucking town? Like, you're the only one that's actually gotten out of this? You can't have brought Allie Larder with you?
In her whipped cream bikini?
You could have done that? Anyways, your final thing on Billy Bob.
Okay, so Billy Bob, I did notice this about Billy Bob. Another scene that hit me kind of emotionally was when Kilmer goes off on Billy Bob. I mean,
oh yeah,
constantly blames him for Lance's injury. You big stupid fat fuck, whatever. But it's the next scene where, mind you, they lose the game. Mox is getting into it with his pops, and then the brother comes in with bacon, and he goes, "Yeah, Billy Bob was dropped him off. He said you know what to do with him." I was like, "Oh shit,
right."
No! Right. And even Mike's like, oh shit, I gotta go. And he goes to where he knows Billy Bob is gonna be. And of course he's sitting there, he's letting off shots with that big ass shotgun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? And mind you, I'm still thinking like Billy Bob's gonna off himself. Fuck.
Of course, because and not only that, but what's he holding? He's holding all these accolades that have been building these kids up since they were at least 10. Mm-hmm. No, 9. Mm-hmm. Pee Wee football started at 9 for them. So at 9 years old, they had started this journey to try to get out of this fucking town. Mm-hmm. And for some of them, they could have. And so he's holding these accolades and he's throwing them and then he's shooting them. And he keeps talking about like some of the verbal abuse that's coming afterwards. Yeah, man. Yeah, that there were some deep moments into this movie that like kind of got under you a little bit.
That's why the that last shot of him when Billy Bob in particular getting that touchdown, like yes, that comes full circle.
Of course,
because at first he was pretty much told to believe you ain't shit.
Right, exactly.
You're a fat dumb piece of shit. And for him to take that final step and actually win a touchdown, for them to win the game, I mean, that's a come up is better than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now the epilogue saying, "Oh well, Billy Bob he
cried because he's crying." I hated the epilogue. Yeah, I hated the epilogue.
I couldn't stand it. I at least want to see where Billy Bob went.
Right.
Does Tweeter go to jail?
Right. Does Tweeter wind up going to jail for sex crimes?
This Lance successful as.
Right, does he wind up going into college, college football, whatever?
It was a bunch of stuff that were left unanswered, but overall.
The only thing they said was like Wendell got into Grambling University, right?
Right.
Which is
where he wanted to go.
Right. And then of course Mox gets out.
That's Varsity Blues, man.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. 40%, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, critics. I mean, the script wasn't top notch. Let's be fair on that. But it's like you can't tell me that the movie doesn't stick with you 20 years later.
And it gives you a feeling of like, you know what? I may not live in this small hick town, but I definitely can relate to the pressures of playing high school sports, trying to get out, trying to set the tone for what the fuck you're gonna do after high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So. Like us, a lot of us didn't go to college right after Mojave. We just went to different areas, different lanes. But
right,
people, and then people you thought would be the sports star of tomorrow
didn't go anywhere.
Is the plumber that works at the local spot around the way,
or it's like even and this where it gets a little sad for me now. But it's like stars of our football team, like that I can think of, and there's like 4 off the top of my head. 2 of them are no longer with us.
That is very true.
You know, one of them actually did wind up going into the NFL, at least to the practice squad. You know, and the other one, well, he was able to run the Olympic torch.
Very true.
And so it's like you have those moments and you see those wonderful things, but it's like the happy ending story doesn't always happen for everybody, you know?
And eventually, you know, the party does come to an end.
Of course.
But that's Varsity Blues. Once again, a great movie. A movie that I wouldn't mind seeing remade today. To really focus on, you know, present day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the same concept, the same issues, but just make it for present day.
Absolutely.
And see how people, the younger generation can respond to it.
100% behind you on that.
Dave, takeaways. Who's giving you that guy award?
It's going to go to Billy Bob.
Oh, all right.
Billy Bob is really the heart. Look, Mox at the end of the day is actually a likable person. You know, maybe he had good morals. Maybe he had good morals by not doing anything without Allie Larder. He was actually a better friend, and he is a good friend to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, Mox is one of those guys that like he's not going to keep up with anybody from that town ever again.
No.
That high school reunion is going to come and it's going to pass him.
He's not going to show.
Exactly. Billy Bob, though, would. And everybody would remember Billy Bob.
Of course.
Billy Bob was absolutely the heart and soul of this team. The part of the reason for the success of this team was because of Billy Bob. Billy Bob was in every single way the force behind this team that really like brought the team together. You know, he was fun and cute and enjoyable. There's not a quality not to like about Billy Bob. No, he's not the smartest guy. No, definitely not.
But he's lovable, though.
But he's lovable. Absolutely.
That chick award.
It's actually going to go to Allie Larder. And the reason why is this. I understand. It may not make you into a good person. But I understand, especially high school. High school, like, of course we have these ideas of when I turn 18 years old, I'm going to marry you, you know, and, you know, some people do stay in that high school relationship and they wind up getting married and having a kid. Kudos to you. Allie was
a rare.
Right. Exactly. Darcy was looking for a way out. She was looking for the best way for her to kind of get out of there. And who knows where it would have taken her from there. But she knew that she did not want to be here and want to move forward. Now, to be fair, she was doing everything that she could to try to find her own way afterwards. You know, it just sometimes those opportunities don't come up, unlike the one that she currently has.
This full of work.
Even though I really enjoy the character Tweeter. Tweeter is the guy in high school that you love, and at the same time, you really don't want to know after high school.
You don't want to be associated with him.
No, not at all. No. Tweeter is a high school guy, straight up forward. The fact that one of his jokes promotes rape culture in today's day and age doesn't really work.
And he's my ass. All right, cut that out.
The epilogue. I would rather not know anything.
Just end it.
Seriously, imagine if they showed if they just continue to just play out the crowd and all the, yeah, woo, you know, all the cheering instead without saying anything whatsoever. And I think that would have been a much better ending.
I agree. Iconic scene.
This is tough.
Don't steal mine. I think you're going to steal mine.
Well, it's tough because the locker room scene is excellent. But a lot of ways this movie is recognized by the whipped cream bikini scene.
Yeah.
But it is, man, I don't know what yours is, and I feel bad. But I also think it's kind of the Billy Bob truck scene. It's going to go to the Billy Bob truck scene. It tugs at your heartstrings a little bit, and it finally like forces you to recognize that these kids don't want the life that's presented to them at all. And they busted their ass off all this time only to just get thrown into the face over and over again. It actually reminds me a little bit of football nowadays with the NFL where it's like, oh, okay, whenever people, it drives me nuts with the football culture out here, because it's like people turn around and say, "Oh, that guy's a fucking bum. That guy doesn't know how to play football that well anymore." And it's like, yeah, but for like 3-4 seasons, he was consecutively, like he was not only rock solid, but like he was one of the best players on the team. Now you're just like, nah, cut him. He's too expensive. Nah. And how disrespectful you are for kneeling, you know? And it's like, you know what? These kids, these guys, like they've been doing this since they were 9. Mm-hmm. Imagine if your full-time job from the age of 9 until the age of 33 was football, day in and day out. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time trying to deal with anything else. And yeah, you're probably going to have a little bit of a prima donna, you know, mindset, attitude as well. Definitely. But in Varsity Blues, these kids kind of don't want anything to do with football anymore. But at the same time, they also know that it was the only thing they had going for them at the time. And
it was almost guaranteed to get you out.
Exactly.
Unless you come with a crazy marketing plan or whatever the case may be. But people from this town, they pretty much stay in this town.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, partner. Who's getting you that guy award?
I struggled, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to Paul Walker's character, Lance. And the reason why, I'm just shocked throughout this movie. I'm thinking like he's going to get a big head. Him and Vanderbeek are going to beef. And it's just a smooth ride with this cat. You know what I mean? And
he's a cool cat.
And what happens to him is so fucked up. But you know what? He's for the team. I'm going to assume he ends up coaching the team for good.
I think so.
To replace Kilmer. And he has a legit, you know what? This is what's going to happen to me. And I'm good with it. You know what I mean? Even when he stands up and says, like, listen, like, don't let Bud Kilmer put that shit in. Look what happened to me.
Right. Exactly.
And I let him do it to me.
Right.
You know? So for that, he definitely gets my That Guy award. My That Chick award, I'm with it. Goes with Ali Lauder, the bikini, the whipped cream bikini scene. Cause I understand. I get it.
Right.
You know, not saying Amy Smart's character wasn't cool, but
at the same time, she was also whatever.
She was whatever. But Ali Lauder's character had like, all right, I totally understand why you're making the moves you make. You're going about it the wrong way, but I get it.
I think my problem with Amy Smart's character is that like it's like you're just being a contrarian to be a contrarian. Like
you have no reason, but just because.
It's like, Mox, you have such a big head. Yeah, dude, he's the quarterback to the town that lives and breathes football. It's going to kind of happen to him when all of a sudden this comes up to him. So understand a little bit, but you're also now. But you're younger. So what do you know?
Exactly. This full award, hands down, goes to Bud Kilmer.
I think it's tough to give it to Bud.
Nope, not for me. And the reason why is because, once again, I don't fucking trust Jon Voight.
That's fair.
No matter what he does. But for movie purposes, though, you see the kind of person he is. You see the tactics he uses to win. You see the fucking liar he is. Because when Lance gets hurt, he goes, well, you never mentioned unto me. You bullshit lie.
Right.
You are a bullshit liar.
Right.
Right? And even.
He also said something. You bring a good line. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so, and even, Mox is like, you fucking piece of shit liar.
Right.
You know, and so it literally took the uprising of a team, of your team that you've coached for decades to be like, hey, fuck you, dude.
He actually says a line like when Lance says, don't put that stuff into your knee. He's all like, you're going to listen to a cripple? I'm like, woo!
He called Lance a gimp. Oh my God.
That's it. He called him a gimp. You're going to listen to a gimp? I'm like, the dude played his heart out for you. And you call him a gimp?
I'm like, excuse me? First of all, if I played Lance, whether it's in the script or not, I'm swinging on Bud Kilmer with one of my crutches. Excuse me, motherfucking gimp? This gimp ran for 3,900 yards, bitch. You know? But anyway. But yeah, Bud Kilmer definitely gets this full award. And then I also love the fact that in between the game, it cuts back to him in the office realizing, yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never coached again.
You'll never coach again.
Cut that out?
Cut that out. I'm going to go with Tweeter still in the police car. And the reason why,
oh, man, that's so good.
And the reason why is because, number one, it's random as fuck, right?
Sure.
Number two, it's when he catches up with Mox, and Mox he got the beer from the guy. He said, "Your money's no good here." So Mox already in a certain mindset where like, damn, this is really what it's about to be like because I won the game.
Right.
Out of nowhere, this fucking car shows up. Police car shows up. I was Mox thinking it's the police. It's not. It's naked Tweeter with a bunch of naked sophomores in the backseat. And it's just like, I get it. It's for a joke. But I'm like, nah. Can you know for a fact that there's sophomores in the backseat? He even acknowledged the fact that there are sophomores in the backseat. These are young chicks. Well, you're all young dudes, but the whole situation, it didn't sit right with me.
The other problem with that was that for sure they all had to be 18 years old because they walked into a strip club in
Clearly,
Texas.
yes.
So what happens next? I don't know. But yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah, that's definitely for me.
And what's your iconic scene?
The Let's Be Heroes monologue.
That's good.
Yes.
It's a good one.
This is for the rest of your life. I genuinely enjoy a really good sports monologue.
It's really classy.
It's almost like what's meant to pump the team up via movie. It's almost like a life reference for real life.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I find myself getting more emotional over key sport movie scenes than anything else. Rudy, great example. Everybody lays down their uniforms in front of them because they're not going to play without Rudy not being out there.
Right.
Moneyball for me puts me in fucking tears.
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday is a good one. But Moneyball especially for me because it's the guy that is playing out of position and he has to come in and he hits the home run and it's perfectly set up because there's no noise that's coming in. You just hear the crack of the bat and you see his like look up and it's Chris Pratt, that always helps. But but just like, oh man, it tears me to fucking pieces.
I'm telling you, it's something about a good monologue to get the team amped. You as a movie, you're like, yeah,
absolutely.
Cause like I said, any Given Sunday, Al Pacino's monologues, one of many, they're all effective, but that last one during the championship game, because we know after this game he's going to retire.
Well, that's
correct. Correct.
We know he's no longer going to be with the team, probably.
That team,
right?
But we'll that's. Oh, by the way, Any Given Sunday is popping up this year. Look out for it. But it's something about that monologue that just pumps you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's me. Yeah, the Let's Be Heroes monologue is definitely dope.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Quick hits. I love doing this part because you always find out some shit you never knew. In the scene where Darcy, played by Ali Larder, sports her whipped cream bikini, shaving cream was used because whipped cream wouldn't stick right.
No, of course not.
Duh.
we as men know that whipped cream doesn't stick.
Like, you think? Nah. Paul Walker actually broke his leg during filming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is so. Joshua Jackson was considered for the role of Mox, and I'm so glad he wasn't. Even though Vanderbeek, I feel away about Vanderbeek, but Joshua Jackson's just boring. I've never found him to be like a...
Well, it's like, it's the reason for that is obviously because, again, the Dawson's Creek connection. Joshua Jackson was obviously in Dawson's Creek, obviously, and of course he played in the sports franchise already with the Mighty Ducks.
Correct. University of Toronto trademarked the name Varsity Blues for its sports team in the mid-1980s. UFC complained the movie presented sports in a negative light and sued Paramount Pictures, settling for an undisclosed amount and settling 8 scholarships for academically accomplished student athletes.
Okay. That's random.
Plans for a television series based on the movie were planned. The series also was going to feature Ron Lester reprising his role as Billy Bob. But for unknown reasons, the plans never got past the pilot episode.
Right, and now we have so many television series based on football.
Based on football.
Friday Night Lights is one of the best. Is probably the best television program you can watch based on football. It's amazing, but it's also it's 7 seasons of football.
Man, the Ford on the movie poster is never seen in the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. I thought it was Billy Bob's truck, but turned out it's not. It's just a truck.
Yeah.
2 principal cast members have died since the movie's release. Paul Walker, who passed away November 30th of 2013, and Ron Lester, who passed away June 17th of 2016. Rest in peace to both of those guys. And of course, Ali Larter and Amy Smart are best friends in real life and have been for 20 years.
It was later said that Ali Larter is probably never going to show this movie to her kids.
Probably not.
Probably not. I wouldn't.
Probably not. Mommy has whipped cream on the tits. Yeah, probably not.
Nope.
But Dave, I want to thank you, man, because prior to, I don't know, this time last year, I probably would have never watched Varsity Blues ever. But I finally watched it, and damn, do I enjoy it. It's a really good movie. I urge you to, for those who are fans of sports films, whether that's Rudy, The Sixth Man, Remember the Titans,
Bull Durham,
Billy Madison. It's so many sports movies in various genres, whether it's comedy, drama, whatever the case may be. Hell, even The Fan with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. You have various movies in the sports franchise, in the sports movie.
You wouldn't bring up that fucking movie.
I happen to like The Fan. Fuck you.
That movie's so awful.
I happen to like the movie, okay? Boom. Now do you care? Yes, I happen to like the movie, actually. Get out there and watch Varsity Blues. It'll definitely bring back those high school memories for you. It did for me.
Yeah.
It honestly did for me. Dave, where can the good folks find you?
I am the co-host here at Back to the Classics as well as Reel It Back. You can always find me at my tag, David Danger Neff, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I popped Snapchat and I was like, nah, I still hate this thing. So I was like, nah, not going to do this anymore.
Yep.
You can always find me there. We are in the process of moving to the studio, so later this month, you're going to be hearing some new projects and new stuff that's coming out, as well as new guests, all of that. Those of you who are interested into being a guest, or would like to promote with us, please reach out to us at the BTTC podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
My guy, Jay Alonso, where can they find you?
You can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonso. You talk to me and I'll talk back. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Reel It Back. We'll have a review up hopefully this week. I'm catching the upside tomorrow. So probably be a little solo review. And me and Dave will leave. Oh, we're definitely catching Glass next week.
Oh, no doubt about it.
So there'll be a Glass review up for sure. Don't forget about the Facebook group. Here we go. Back to the Classics and Movie Talk group on Facebook. Jump on in there, join the conversation. We love to have you. Now being ran by Danger David Neff. What else? Follow us here on Instagram at BTTC Podcast. That's also going to be on Twitter as well at BTTC Podcast. And I believe that is all.
Yeah, I think we're good.
That's everything?
Yeah.
Sound pretty good. Well, see y'all next week. Another ride.
Another time.
Another time.
Peace.
Out of here. Peace.